Oh my god, Kendall?
Kendall! And Shiv?
Love Shiv.
And what about Roman?
Yes! And Logan.
Oh, Logan.
Fear.
Bum bum fear. Bum bum fear. Bum bum fear. Fear.
So we are here. We're trying out a new thing. We're doing a new thing.
Welcome to the Fear podcast Succession Talks.
Because I made the right call. I made the right call suggesting that we do this because there is going to be video worth of. Oh my god, that first episode.
So the first episode of season 4, episode 1 of Succession just dropped.
Yes,
it's boy oh boy do we have some stuff to talk
It's
about.
called the Munsters. Let's fucking go. There will be an actual FEARcast coming soon. We recorded one with a friend of ours recently, so guest one coming soon. But
and another one coming
at some
eventually.
point. Yeah,
at some point.
I'm
gonna have time.
This will help add some more content. God. Okay, Succession is back and better than ever. Oh my god. So after last season's explosive blocks the kids out.
When I started this season, there was a part of me that was worried they're not going to be able to follow up after the brilliance that was the end of season 3, and then Greg commits a sex act in Logan's mansion.
Oh my god. Okay, the comedy, the drama. Oh, this episode.
God.
We're already starting off incredibly strong.
It opens. I can't remember if it opens on Logan's birthday first, or if it opens on the kids.
It opens on the kids.
So it opens on the kids, and the tone for them is immediately set with Roman being the sensible one, and fucking
Kendall making goofy jokes
as they're talking about their startup, the 100. And you can immediately tell.
No, it's just the 100. So you know things are fucking dire when Roman is being the
voice of reason.
The voice of reason. So the three of them, Roman, Kendall, and Shiv, are basically trying to do their own thing now. They haven't fully resigned from the company. But I think they're literally just waiting for their payout.
Yeah, they're literally that's all they're doing. They're waiting. They're waiting for the money to roll in, and then they're gonna.
Yeah, and then they will resign. Like that's.
However, a new proposal comes across when Shiv talks to Tom.
So there's two intersecting storylines here. There is Kendall, Roman, and Shiv
trying to find a new avenue.
And there is Logan's birthday party, of which the new Logan crew. We noticed this in the we noticed this in the intro. The last shot that they always have in the intro, where it's Logan's, like the back of Logan's head with his room of people. The room of people does not have his kids in it.
Yeah.
Now
I can't say for certain that they didn't have the kids in there before, but it was noticeable now that it was all
Stewie. Stewie was in the shot. There's no way Stewie was there the whole time.
Absolutely not. Like absolutely not.
Yeah, it was like Jerry and Stewie, and I think Tom behind Stewie.
And then one of
probably like Carl or something.
Yeah, one of Logan's yes men.
Yeah. So the stables are set. Logan is doing his thing, and the others.
And that's such an interesting perspective because obviously the show is always kind of positioned Logan as kind of in opposition to his family's best interests, but the show was always framed from the family's business POV. So it's at the end of the day, every episode ends with Logan kind of getting what he wants. Mm-hmm. So the family never has to suffer the consequences.
It's a war now.
Now it is a full-on war. They are on the opposing side of Logan, and they need to try to win. They need to win every battle they can.
And to prove how much of a war it is, the first interaction between the two sides is Tom calling Shiv to tell Shiv that he was just in a meeting with Naomi Pierce.
Which was totally a business meeting.
Shiv jumps to the conclusion that it was a like sex thing,
and that Logan might be trying to acquire Pierce.
And yeah, which that second part is right.
That second part is right.
The first part is not. And
she gets super hostile.
She gets like more. She gets some of the most worked up I've seen her about it.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to keep her composure when she goes back into Kendall and Roman, but everyone in the room can tell that she's like losing it.
Sarah Snook was really good.
Yeah, I think
like this might be one of her strongest episodes.
So the three startup gang are
that they realize that Pierce is on the market, and they're like, should we do this? Should we snipe this from Dad?
Keep in mind they are literally supposed to be about to be meeting with investors for their startup that they give up on halfway through.
They don't
chase after.
Yes, they. At this point, they're gonna get money.
Yeah.
They're going to get money.
Yeah.
They don't have money.
They don't have investor money. They don't have.
They don't. Yeah. They have to get investor money just to start this startup. They want to make.
But then they say fuck the 100. And which it's not exactly clear what the 100 is. Intentionally show it's like clearly a bad startup idea for like a rival news network.
It was kind of BuzzFeed, but for conservatives.
Like an OAN type thing. I don't know. So they go out to meet with Pierce, with Nan Pierce, the head of the if you don't remember, that's basically the liberal version of the Roy family.
Yeah, the liberals. Meanwhile, Logan's half has been under the assumption that the deal's already done and are just kind of playing it in the background while Logan is clearly depressed.
It's Logan's birthday and he is having a bad day. There's clearly a part of him that misses his kids and wants them there, and the
I want to be a father part of him is at war with the I need to be a businessman part of him.
And it's at one point in the episode he leaves the party and goes and gets food with some random
bodyguard.
Some random person I think just a bodyguard. And he literally starts waxing philosophical to the bodyguard about like people just being economic machines. You know, the usual Logan business
But this
speech.
time
It has this sad angle we've never seen from him. Like,
and then he just out and out asks, do you think we go anywhere when we die? And at that point, me and Coleman were just like,
oh wait, Logan.
There's no way Logan's living at the end of the
is dying
season.
at some point in this season.
Yeah, it might be the finale. It might be before the finale. I don't think Logan is making it out of this season alive.
Because he gives this business speech like he's trying to convince himself
that what he's done is has meaning or is valuable.
And the bodyguard, of course, has no idea how to interact with any of this. And I also noticed that when he leaves, okay, so Carrie, who's the woman who was following him around for all of season 3, she's fully a power player too.
She's like Jerry in season 2 now.
Yeah, she straight up talked down to Greg.
Yeah.
And this is the most we've basically ever seen her talk. She's going full power player now.
Hungry.
To the point where Greg is lower on the rung.
Oh, geez, okay.
Yeah.
Greg brings this girl to the party.
This is where the funny aspects come. So,
he immediately finds Tom, who is in his own depression spiral because he's worried that he might be getting a divorce with Shiv. And
he's also worried how that will impact his relationship with Logan.
Which it seems rightfully so, because Logan, in a very non-committal way, says, we're good.
No, it's, if we're good, we're good. Which is even worse.
That is worse.
And then Tom just goes, that's very heartening.
I'm
heartened by that. That's in the trailer. Oh, by the way, we should say that I think you pointed this out.
You can watch if you pretty much everything from the main trailer that's been going around for Succession season 4. I'm pretty sure has only shown clips from the first episode.
Yeah, at the very least, the full lines we have gotten were pretty much all in this episode.
So if you've watched that trailer, you're not going to be spoiled for the rest of this season.
Yeah,
and you're barely going to be spoiled for this
There's a
episode.
lot. My God, they're cooking so hard. They're
Really?
cooking so hard. So Greg, let's talk about the funny Greg subplot before we get into the
The serious stuff.
So Greg brings this girl to the party. She's kind of weird. She's not weird, but just like
She's
not.
weird because she's a normal person.
Yeah, she's a normal person rather than like the Duchess that he was hanging out with the last season. And Tom makes fun of Greg for bringing this girl. Other people are criticizing her. Oh my God, there's a great moment where she comes up to Greg and when he's talking to people and she says, "We need to go. I think we need to go." And he's like, "Why?" And she's like, "I just asked Logan for a selfie." Logan, who's been a grumpy boy this entire episode.
Even if he wasn't being a total grouch.
He would never respond
Why
to that positively.
you would never.
So she's kind of just like not out of her element here. But then, halfway through the episode, Greg comes up to Tom. Also, Greg...
Greg has had this running bit of calling him and Tom the disgusting
brothers. Which is clearly some awkward coping mechanism for Greg to like deal with his guilty feelings about what
I
he
did
to the rest
something
of the
bad.
family.
I did something disgusting and horrible.
Yeah. So Greg comes up to Tom and is like, "We did it. And so then Tom learns that Greg and this girl rummaged, as Greg so eloquently
We
puts it,
rummaged in each other's pants.
in one of the guest rooms.
And then Tom, I don't know if he actually has CCTVs, but I'm sure if he does, Tom doesn't know that. He gaslights
Greg into thinking that there's cameras everywhere and this was on film, which then leads Greg in the middle of like tense Logan.
Tense business discussions.
We're literally at the end of the episode and like Logan is being confronted with the information that his kids are hunting down Pierce, and he's like at his wit's end, and Greg literally manages to pull him aside.
I have to talk to you in private.
And Logan's like, over there.
And then we come back.
No, I love when they don't show it. Whenever they don't show us a conversation, it's always the perfect one. They don't show us Greg telling Logan. We see Greg coming back to Tom and describing what he told him.
And then Tom is like, "So you blamed it all on her." How gallant.
My favorite was the initials. Greg's like, Logan said I was disgusting and horrible,
but he
kind of a smile.
So I think I might be good.
It's just like this peak dramatic scene, and we've got Greg awkwardly walking up to Logan being like, Hey, can I talk to you? And we're like, no, stop.
And then the security guy comes up and he's like, "So she's gonna have to leave."
Oh yeah, right after Greg finishes telling Tom about the conversation and being like, "I think it went kind of well," the security guy comes up and is like, "Oh yeah, Greg, your date's gonna have to leave."
And then Greg's like, no. And he's like, "Do you want to come with me down the thing when I confront her about why I need to look through her phone?"
Because she posted on social media.
And he's like, "I think this is best left up to the professionals."
He specifically says, "I don't want to know what happens in Guantanamo," and then goes back up the stairs.
Greg!
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
But that's just that's
the comedy.
That's the comedy storyline. But even the comedy storyline here is fucking firing on all cylinders. So we basically Kendall, Roman, and Shiv go to Nan Pierce's place. You think for a scene that they're not even going to be able to get in to talk to her because Naomi is like fielding them off.
Yeah.
But they do manage to get in to talk to her.
And then they start a pseudo bidding war that escalates into a full-on bidding war between them and Logan over the price of Pierce's company.
Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, the kids win.
Well, because they
win by overbidding.
They bid $10 billion.
When Logan was going at like 6, 7.
Yeah.
And there's even this tense because of course you see as the episode goes on why Logan wants Tom to stay married to Shiv. It's so he has a way for Tom to call up Shiv at any point and play mind games.
Yeah.
Because they're playing mind games in this bidding war. Tom's on the phone with all 3 siblings, like
he's like,
being
surely,
like, what's your ceiling? What's
sure,
your ceiling?
surely you didn't go up to $6 billion.
What's your ceiling? Ours is 12. Yeah, well, ours is 12 too. Fuck you.
off.
And it's
Fuck
like,
you.
clearly none of them are going to 12.
Yeah.
But it's like, they don't, the tension, you don't know who's going to win
For
the
a
bidding
second
war.
there, right, like when the kids came in with their deal, I thought like they were gonna give their bid, and Logan was already going to have bid $12 billion.
Yeah, that was definitely the kids' most confident moment, is they come in with the $9 billion and the shots all on Shiv. This was Shiv's episode, for real.
Well, no,
Shiv
they come in
and
with the
Tom.
$10 billion.
Yeah, they come
Because
in
they
with the
were
10.
good. They did 8.5.
Meanwhile, Logan was lowballing at like 6.
And then they had the call to suss each other out, and then
It didn't work.
and then
for either of them.
Roman was like, maybe we go 9 billion, 9.5.
Well, Roman was kind of not into this deal the whole
He
time.
wanted to do
he
the
wanted
100.
the startup, and the rest of them did not want the startup.
Yeah. He was like, best I can think is 9.5.
Right,
And then Kendall was like,
Kendall dropped the 10 ball.
He was
and
like,
they talked
at
themselves
this point, let's just grab it, 10 billion.
And it's interesting because like they had their financial guy on the phone, and he didn't necessarily try to talk them down from 10. But
However, he did not sound confident.
no,
about
there was
10.
definitely the vibe that 10 was an overspend on money
They don't have.
really have, at least not enough to be comfortably working.
Not enough
like,
to comfortably spend
like
$10 billion.
the startup is dead.
Yeah.
The startup is, with spending 10 on Pierce, the startup is dead.
Yeah. At most, the startup is going to turn into like a board,
Could you
a
imagine if
banner.
Roman branched off and started trying to do the startup? Maybe that's how Logan lures Roman back in.
Oh my god.
Because there's a little trailer for the rest of the season at the end of the episode that's got more mind-breaking moments, including Kendall talking to Nate, the worst character, Nate! This is the one that Shiv was cheating on Tom with in season 1.
Who we haven't seen since
What
like
is Nate
season
fucking
2.
cooking? Oh, everyone's here. Everyone is fucking cooking. Connor is pretty much so Connor is struggling to hold on to his 1%.
Okay, no,
election.
this was great. So Connor is talking about how he's struggling to hold on to his 1%, and the only way he can guarantee keep it is to spend $100 million, which he's very cautious to do.
Willa asks him the most loaded question ever of like, okay, 100 million, but that's not like that much. You'd still be like rich, right? So much implied. Like if this bankrupts you, I'm leaving you. So much like implications in that question.
And then he's like,
And, okay,
100 million less.
With the time skip between, because it's unclear how long this time skip is. You pointed out correctly that it's Logan's birthday, which means it's been at least a year since L to the OG, because that was also a Logan birthday.
However, it's probably been longer because we've seen, like we saw in the first season, the kids were little kids, and now they're like
Wait,
almost.
did we see Kendall's kids?
No, but like in season 3, we see them, and they're almost preteen.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a couple of years timeline span in this show.
But specifically, the gap between season 3 and season 4, it's been a while.
It's been long.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been long enough that the deal that was getting set up at the end of season 3
With the Gojo company
is now all but finalized.
48 hours out.
48 hours out from being finalized in now.
What point was I trying to make with the time gap? 'Cause I forgot.
Well,
Something about
Gabagool.
Kendall and Roman and I.
just that like
I don't know. We lost it, but we'll find.
just like they lost their thread on what they're
the
trying
100.
to do because getting Pierce is not. There are
isn't going to do anything for
No.
them, really. I mean, I guess it'll give them like cred, but like they don't know what they're not going to be running Pierce.
No, they barely could run their own company.
That's why Nan took the D. You saw Nan's reaction when they came in and said 10. She looked back at her team like, I can't believe they just offered 10. All right, fuck it, we're going with that. Like, they definitely overbidded. 10 billion.
They overbid.
Yeah.
And they're not, and like, even if they can get the money, they're not gonna make it back.
And Logan, there's there's this interesting thing where it's like Logan clearly knows this, but he's also clearly still bitter he lost.
Yeah.
Like, Tom basically puts Logan, he
On
has
speaker.
Logan talking to his phone, and Logan's like, congrats on saying the highest number, you fucking morons, and then he leaves.
Now, obviously, that's like you said, that's an obvious obvious cocktail of bitterness, but also these idiots just spent $10 billion.
Yeah.
Like, I was only spending $6 billion out of spite.
Right.
They're spending $10 billion out of even more spite, and it's gonna blow up in their face.
Like, in terms of the negotiations between the two groups, the kids lost. They didn't hear what Logan's bet was. They definitely assumed Logan's bet was like 8, 9, 9.5, when he was lowballing with 6 to go up to 7. Like, they got played by Logan. But they also got
got what he wanted. So ultimately, they did still win.
They won the battle.
But it was a Pyrrhic victory.
They won the battle, but this is a war that is going to last all season.
And I don't see a timeline where our kids win.
Oh my god.
Also, we're gonna have a president storyline. And that is terrifying.
Oh yeah, the election is looming closer. It's looming closer. Oh my god. And then, to top it all off, after all that deal making, we have...
Oh my god, this scene.
The Shiv and Tom scene. And you know when Shiv is returning to her empty, quiet home, it's like, uh-oh, Tom's gonna be here. And they're gonna have a conversation.
And that conversation is not gonna be good. And it was not.
When Shiv starts, like, mocking Tom and being like, you fuck all those models, and she's just so bitter about something that didn't happen. That's the craziest. It's like, she did way worse.
Or even if it did, it happened within the specifications of the relationship they set up.
Yes, but the second she, like, has it flipped on her, she is completely... And there's it's like she's, like, complaining and, like, bitching at him, basically, and he just goes, you want to do an inventory of all the pain in our marriage? Because I can do that.
And then she just shuts up, and they're like...
She just shuts down.
And they're like... And then he's like, you want to talk? And she's like, I want a divorce. She doesn't say I want a divorce, but she's just like, there's something left to talk about.
She uses every word but divorce, I think.
Yeah.
And Tom is, like, despite everything, still trying to convince her not.
Because despite everything, he still loves her.
Yeah.
But even though he knows that she'll probably never love him.
Yeah. Ugh. Matthew McFadden, if this is the trajectory of the season, McFadden's about to win another Emmy.
And Sarah Snook might.
And Sarah Snook might also win one too. Because clearly the Shiv
that seems
Tom
to be the big. That seems to be going to be the big slow burn storyline for this. Not even slow burn, but
that's the most personal part of it. Because yes, Logan versus the kids is personal, but it's always kind of been Logan versus the kids in a way.
Yeah, literally from the very first episode, it was Kendall wants to run the company. Logan is running it, but Logan is the one with all the power.
Shiv and Tom and their conflict getting wedged right into the middle of this is so clearly
It's so organic because start of you go back to the start of the series and you're like, oh, Tom's just gonna be Shiv's bumbling yes man, you know, her ticket into the bit, her way to have a hand in the cookie jar without being in the company, and he'll be the sniveling little yes man because he wants to work his way up. And now we're here.
He's worked his way up, and
now they're getting a divorce. She is trying to buy Pierce out from underneath her father,
and her husband,
and her husband is one of her dad's close associates.
And the whole conflict in this episode starts because Tom reaches out with a gesture of good faith and overtrusts her.
And she immediately
not only not only goes after him business-wise, but goes after him personally over something she thinks happened that is totally hypocritical.
Yeah.
And it's
and now Nate's gonna get involved.
If we keep going on this trajectory, this will be the best season of the show, and probably one of the best seasons of television ever made. because this episode was like 10 out of 10,
10
by
out of
this
10.
show's standards.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
And did she rummage to fruition?
Oh my god. Oh, we didn't even mention that. We didn't even mention Connor trying to convince Willa to turn their wedding into a publicity stunt.
So you know our wedding. What if we had it at Manhattan Island?
No, now I remember what point I was trying to make with the time gap, where with the time gap that was on, I kind of thought maybe they had already gotten married, but then you reveal that not only are they not married yet, but Connor is trying to pitch a cheaper wedding to Willa
so
that is also a publicity stunt.
And then he can use the money he saved to further fund his campaign.
And it's not confirmed at the end of that scene whether she goes along with it or not.
She's probably going to.
She nods, she gives a no nod, but a yes smile. Which is like, I don't fucking know what I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Knowing how their storylines typically play out, we're gonna smash cut to like
to the Manhattan Island fucked up publicity wedding. Or even better, we'll get like a news reporter about it. Like we're gonna see on a newspaper that the cheap wedding turned into a shit show. yeah. And Connor's gonna be freaking out about it at whatever social gathering they're all gathered together.
They ruined my wedding! Why did you go to Manhattan Island? It was gonna be symbolic!
Oh my god. So many good
storylines getting set up this season.
Yes. There's so many, Logan is obviously going to die, but I feel like there is now a non-zero possibility that he could kill himself, which is something I never would have even considered before this season. Just from that scene, just from the way that he left the party, and everybody that was in charge of keeping up on him was like concerned about where he went.
Where is he?
They were like, where did Logan go? We need to find Logan. Like, is Logan going through his own version of the shit Kendall was going through in the last couple seasons?
God, maybe.
And we just don't see it as much because he's such a hardened,
And the end of the episode really supports that, where we just see it ends on him depressed, watching news at night.
He's depressed watching his own ATN. Is that the name? Yeah. He's watching ATN and he hates what they're showing, and he calls up the person in charge. Is like, this is fucking shit, and he's clearly mad that he doesn't have better.
Yeah.
He's like, this is what my legacy was spent on. People watch this shit at night. I watch news at night. And it's like, oh, that's the last scene.
That is the very last scene. And it's like, fuck. I would have never in a million years thought Logan kills himself. But now, it's shit, maybe.
I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but it is on the table.
It's on the table. At the very least, if he does end up dying, if he does end up being in a scenario where he's on death's door like he was at the start of season 1, I don't know if he's going to want to or have the strength to fight back.
Yeah. Ugh.
God. Succession.
Succession is fire. Succession, they cooked. We'll see you next week with more of this.
Bum bum fire! Bum bum fear! Bum bum fear!